Of Kung Ye Chang, the master said, a girl might be wedded to him. Though he has been in fetters, that was not his crime. He gave him his daughter to wed. Of Nanjung, the master said, when the land keeps the way, he will not be neglected. And if the land loses the way, he will escape punishment and death. He gave him his brother's daughter to wed. Of Tzuchien, the master said, what a gentleman he is. But if there were no gentleman in Lu, where could he have picked it up? Footnote 38. A disciple born in Lu. Tzu Kung asked, and what of me, thou art a vessel, said the master. What kind of vessel? A rich temple vessel. One said, Jung has love, but he is not glib. The master said, what is the good of being glib? Fighting men with tonguecraft mostly makes men hate you. Whether love be his, I do not know, but what is the good of being glib? Footnote 39. The disciple Chung Kung. The master moved Chi Tiao Kai to take office. He answered, for this I want confidence. The master was pleased. The master said, forsaken is the way. I must take ship and stem the seas, and you shall go with me. When Tsulu heard this, he was glad. The master said, Yu loves daring more than I do, but he is at a loss how to take things. Footnote 40. Tsulu. Meng Wu asked whether Tsulu had love. I do not know, said the master. He asked again. A land of 1,000 chariots might give you charge of its levies, but whether love be his, I do not know. And how about Chiu? A town of 1,000 households, a clan of 100 chariots might make Chiu governor, but whether love be his, I do not know. And how about Chi? Standing in the court, girt with his sash, Chi might entertain the guests, but whether love be his, I do not know. Footnote 41. The disciple Jian Yu. Footnote 42. The disciple Kung Sihua. The master said to Tzu Kung, which is the better man, thou or Hui? He answered, how dare I look as high as Hui? When Hui hears one thing, he understands 10. When I hear one thing, I understand 2. The master said, thou art not his like. Neither art thou his like, nor am I. Footnote 43. The disciple Yen Yuan. Tsai Yu slept in the daytime. The master said, rotten wood cannot be carved, nor are dung walls plastered. Why chide with you? The master said, when I first met men, I listened to their words and took their deeds on trust. When I meet them now, I listen to their words and watch their deeds. I writed this on you. Footnote 44. The disciple Tsai Wo. The master said, I have met no firm man. One answered Shen Chang. The master said, Chang is passionate. How can he be firm? Tzu Kung said, what I do not wish done to me, I likewise wish not to do to others. The master said, that is still beyond thee, Tzu. Tzu Kung said, to hear the master on his art and precepts is granted us, but to hear him on man's nature and the way of heaven is not. Until Tsulu could do what he had heard, his only fear was to hear more. Tzu Kung asked, why was Kung Wen called cultured? The master said, he was quick and loved learning. He was not ashamed to ask those beneath him. That is why he was called cultured. The master said, of the ways of a gentleman, Tzu Chan had 4. His life was modest. He honored those that he served. He was kind in feeding the people, and he was just in his calls upon them. The master said, Yen Ping was a good friend. The longer he knew you, the more attentive he grew. The master said, Tsang Wen lodged his tortoise with hills on the pillars and reeds on the uprights. Was this his wisdom? Tzu Chang said, the chief minister, Tzu Wen, was thrice made minister without showing gladness. Thrice he left office with unmoved looks. He always told the new ministers how the old ones had governed. How was that? He was faithful, said the master. But was it love? I do not know, said the master. How should this amount to love? When Sui murdered the Lord of Qi, Chen Wen threw up 10 teams of horses and left the land. On coming to another kingdom, he said, like my Lord Sui, and left it. On coming to a second kingdom, he said again, like my Lord Sui, and left it. How was that? He was clean, said the master. But was it love? I do not know, said the master. How should this amount to love? Qi Wen thought thrice before acting. On hearing this, the master said, twice is enough. The master said, whilst the land kept the way, Ning Wu showed wisdom. When his land lost the way, he grew simple. His wisdom we may come up to. Such simplicity is beyond us. Footnote 45. Ning Wu was minister of the Duke of Wei in the middle of the 7th century BC. The duke was driven from his throne and deserted by the wise and prudent. But Ningwu, in his simplicity, stuck to his master and finally effected his restoration. When he was in Chen, the master said, "Home, I must go home. Zealous or rash or finished scholars, my young sons at home do not know what pruning they still need." The master said, "Because Po Yi and Shu Chai never remembered old wickedness, they made few enemies." Footnote 46. Po Yi and Shu Chi were sons of the king of Kuchu. Their father left the throne to the younger of the two, but he would not supplant the elder, nor would the elder go against his father's wishes. So they both retired into obscurity. When King Wu overthrew the tyrant Zhou, 1122 BC, they starved to death, rather than live under a new dynasty. Of Po Yi, Mencius tells us, Book Eth, Chapter 1, his eyes would not look on an evil face, his ears would not listen to an evil sound. He served none but his own lord, he ruled none but his own people. He came in when there was order, and withdrew when tumults came. Where lawless rule showed, or lawless people stayed, he could not bear to dwell. To be together with country folk he thought like sitting in court dress and court cap on dust and ashes. In Zhou's time he dwelt by the North Sea shore, waiting for all below heaven to grow clean. So, hearing the ways of Po Yi, the fool grows honest and the weakling's purpose stands. The master said, "Who can call Wei Shenkao straight?" A man begged him for vinegar. He begged it of a neighbor and gave it. The master said, "Smooth words, fawning looks, and overdone humility." Tirso Chiuming thought shameful, and so do I. He thought it shameful to hide ill will and ape friendship, and so do I. As Yen Yuan and Qilu were sitting with him, the master said, "Why not each of you tell me thy wishes?" Tsulu said, "I should like carriages and horses, and clothes of light fur to share with my friends, and if they spoiled them, not to get angry." Yen Yuan said, "I should like to make no boast of talent or show or merit." Tsulu said, "We should like to hear your wishes, sir." The master said, "To give the old folk peace, to be true to friends, and to have a heart for the young." Footnote 47. Tsulu. The master said, "It is finished. I have met no one that can see his own faults and arraign himself within." The master said, "In a hamlet of 10 houses there must be men that are as faithful and true men as I, but they do not love learning as I do." Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more excellent content.